Welcome to Math with Professor V. Here is your latest integral of the day. We have the indefinite integral of x squared times the square root of 3 plus 2x minus x squared dx. This one's a bit of a doozy, so get comfy, and I'm just going to jump right in. Now, our normal u substitution wasn't looking appealing to me because we don't have something of a higher degree underneath the radical than what's outside. So I went straight for trig sub. I know some of you guys just love figuring out a clever little u sub. So if you do, let me know in the comments down below. But I'm going to start off by completing the square for the expression underneath the radical. That way I can go ahead and do trig sub. Since there's a minus in front of the x squared, I need to factor it out and also factor that out from the 2x. So now I have negative quantity x squared minus 2x. In order for that to be a perfect square trinomial, I need to add 1. But I just went ahead and really added an extra negative 1. So to undo that, let me put a positive 1. And then don't forget there's that little 3 that's sitting underneath the radical. So if I clean everything up, this is negative quantity x minus 1 squared plus 4. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So let's rewrite everything now. We have x squared times the square root. I'm going to write it as 4 minus x minus 1 quantity squared dx. Perfect. So in this case, when we're choosing which trig sub to use, since we have the constant first and then minus a variable quantity squared, we're going to go with sine theta. I'm going to let the entire variable quantity, so all of x minus 1 equal 2 sine theta. If you need a video on trig sub, I've got plenty all linked in the description. Then let's differentiate both sides. So dx equals 2 cosine theta d theta. Everything's looking good. It's just there's this pesky little x squared. So what do? Have no fear. You just come back to where we defined our trig sub. X equals 2 sine theta plus 1. So that's what I'm going to replace x with in my integral. You can see how things are going to get a wee bit messy for a moment. Yes. Okay, so x squared, we have 2 sine theta plus 1 quantity squared. That's my x squared. And then we have square root 4 minus, instead of x minus 1 squared, I'm going to have 2 sine theta squared, which is going to be 4 sine squared theta. And then dx is 2 cosine theta d theta. Perfect. Okay, let's multiply everything out. So we've got here 4 sine squared theta plus 4 sine theta plus 1. Don't forget to FOIL. Don't lose that middle term. Times. And then we know if we factor out a 4, then we have 1 minus sine squared theta. All of that's underneath the radical. So square root of 4 would give me 2. 1 minus sine squared theta is cosine squared theta. Square root of cosine squared theta is technically absolute value cosine theta, but we always restrict theta when we do trig sub, so we don't have to worry about keeping the absolute value bars. We ensure that it's in a quadrant where the trig function will be positive. So you could just put cosine theta with a clear conscience, but always be a wee bit paranoid in other problems that you're not forgetting an absolute value, and then just bring this down to cosine theta d theta. Okay, what to do from here? I would definitely just take some of the constants outside so they're not stressing us out. Let's take a 4 out. All right, people, take the 4 out. And then notice here, this is going to give me cosine squared theta, and I'll just distribute it to each of these 3 terms here. So I'm going to have 4 sine squared theta cosine squared theta plus 4 sine theta cosine squared theta plus cosine squared theta d theta. And at this point, I'm going to say, let me just tackle each of the terms separately. So I'll do this is one integral, this is another one, and this will be my third. Okay? All right, here we go. Stay organized, otherwise you'll lose yourself. I'll add that 4 back in that's outside at the very end. So here we go. Integral number 1. 4 sine squared theta cosine squared theta. We need to add a d theta. So hopefully you recognize this pattern before. It should remind you of our double angle identity for sine. So I'm going to rewrite this first as the quantity 2 sine theta cosine theta all squared d theta. Do you see that? And then all of this on the inside is sine 2 theta And then I have that squared. Oh, but that's fine. When I have sine of some quantity squared, I use my half angle identity. So we're going to have 1/2 integral 1 minus cosine, and then now you always double the argument. So it's going to become 4 theta, very good, d theta. And then from here, you should be good to take your antiderivative. So 1/2 antiderivative of 1 is going to be theta minus, just divide by 4, so 1/4 sine 4 theta. And I'm going to put plus C1, because this constant is from the first little baby integral. We'll put them all together at the end. So let me just distribute. This is 1/2 theta minus 1/8 sine 4 theta plus C1. Okay, so 1 is done. 2 more to go. Okay, next one actually is pretty easy. Integral number 2 was 4 sine theta cosine squared theta d theta. Now hopefully you remember when you have powers of sines and cosines as products in your integral, you usually just do a u sub. And you look, is there one odd man out? There certainly is. So basically sine theta d theta is what I want to get absorbed or to be my du when I make my u substitution. So then just think backwards. If the derivative is going to involve sine theta, u should just be cosine theta and not squared, just cosine theta. Then du is negative sine theta d theta. Perfect. So I can rewrite this integral now as negative 4 u squared du. There you go. So this gives me negative 4/3 u cubed plus c2, very good. And then this is going to be negative 4/3 cosine cubed theta plus c2. Being precise with your constants of integration like this will pay off later when you take more advanced math classes and you have to keep track of them very tediously, like in differential equations and so forth. Okay, last integral. Hopefully it's not too scary. It was just cosine squared theta d theta. So boom, you should just be like a little math robot at this point. Replace it with your half angle, 1/2 outside 1 plus cosine 2 theta d theta. And then this is going to give us 1/2 theta plus 1/2 sine 2 theta, very good, plus c3. And then I'll distribute the 1/2 through. So 1/2 theta plus 1/4 sine 2 theta plus c3. Okay, so let's put everything together. So we have 4 times, my first integral gave me 1/2 theta minus 1/8 sine 4 theta. Then we had minus 4/3 cosine cubed theta plus 1/2 theta plus a 1/4 sine 2 theta plus c, and then you got to tell the people who is this. C is c1 plus c2 plus c3. Okay, now the goal is to clean up as much as possible before it's triangle time, because that's how we get back to the original variable. So let's see here. This is nice. 1/2 theta, 1/2 theta. That's just going to give me theta, right? So 4 times theta. And then the other thing I'm looking at, all right, is that I'm going to need to use some angle identities here, because remember when we draw the triangle, it's a theta triangle. It's not a 2 theta or a 4 theta triangle. So we've got to clean all of that up. Let me group these guys together though, because I want to clean them up in a way that makes my antiderivative as simple as possible. I want to have as few terms as possible, okay? I'm going to start off sine 4 theta. I can replace that with 2 sine 2 theta cosine 2 theta, right? And then if I have that 2 times the negative 1/8, then this is going to give me minus 1/4 sine 2 theta cosine 2 theta. And then I'm going to bring over this 1/4 sine 2 theta to be nice and cozy with it, because I'm going to really try to clean these guys up as slick as possible. And then we've got minus 4/3 cosine cubed theta plus c. okay? And then from here, you're like, ooh, do I just start, plugging in my favorite double angles? You could, but I'm really on a mission, you guys. I really just want to be the slickest little mathematician out there with cleaning this up. I can factor out a 1/4 sine 2 theta. Okay. Just leave this 4 out here, minding its own business. Okay, theta times, I'll factor out a positive 1/4 sine 2 theta, and let me just reorder them. So I'll put this guy first. 1 minus cosine 2 theta is what's next. Minus 4/3 cosine cube theta plus c. Okay, so from here, you're going to have a few versions that are equivalent. They'll be off by a constant, which could get absorbed by the plus c. But the one that's going to be the absolute cutest, snazziest answer on the street is the one that helps you cancel out this 1. So let's choose the version of our cosine double angle identity carefully so that this 1 can cancel out, and we'll just have like the best looking answer you ever did see, right? So cosine 2 theta is cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. But there's 2 other versions. If you replace cosine squared theta with 1 minus sine squared theta, then here's another version. It's 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. And that's exactly the version I'm going to use here. 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. Because then now what's so cool is that this 1 minus 1 will cancel out. You could have used a different version, but then you would have a whole extra term in your antiderivative, which would not be wrong, okay? But we want to just be as succinct as possible, right? That's the most completely simplified answer. So using that identity, let's see what we've got now. So this is going to be 4 times theta plus 1/4 times, let me go ahead, replace sine 2 theta with 2 sine theta cosine theta. And then do you remember what happened in these parentheses? This 1 canceled out with that 1. And then this minus and this minus will give me now a positive 2 sine squared theta. And then we still have minus 4/3 cosine cubed theta plus c. Okay? All right, guys, we're almost there. I'm going to also distribute the 4 and then get this show on the road. Okay, so this 4 is going to get distributed to everybody. So now we should have 4 theta. It'll cancel with the 1/4, but I still have this 2 times 2. So we're still going to have a 4 sine cubed theta cosine theta minus 16/3 cosine cubed theta plus c. Whew! Look at that. Only 3 terms and a plus c. We love it. Now it's triangle time. So that way we can get back to our original variable, which was x. So remember, originally we had let x minus 1 equal 2 sine theta. So that means x minus 1 divided by 2 is sine theta. So draw a triangle for which that is true. Sine theta is the ratio of the opposite side over the hypotenuse. And then you can find the missing side using the Pythagorean theorem. And no surprise, it's going to be 3 plus 2x minus x squared. Oh, here's my little theta. Forgot it. Sorry. Okay. So from here, when you have just plain old theta, you can use any inverse trig function that you like to represent theta that's appropriate using the ratios here on the triangle. But typically, whatever trig function we used for the substitution is the one that we express theta in. So just come right here. You could say theta is sine inverse of x minus 1 over 2. So we'll have 4 sine inverse x minus 1 over 2 plus 4 times. Now what's sine cubed theta? Why, it's x minus 1 over 2. That's sine of theta cubed, right? And then cosine theta is ratio of adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's going to be square root 3 plus 2x minus x squared over 2. Okay, then I have minus 16/3, excuse the spillover to the second line. Cosine cubed theta is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse cubed. Let me write this as 3 plus 2x minus x squared to the 3 halves, right? Since it's getting cubed, that would look so much better. 3 plus 2x minus x squared to the 3 halves, and then over that 2 would also get cubed plus c. Good. The worst is over. Now it's just time to clean up. We've only got like one more line of work to do. Plot for sine inverse x minus 1 over 2. Now let's see what we can cancel out here. So this is going to give me an 8. 8 times 2, 16. That'll cancel with my 4 to just give me a 1/4. Let me just put it out front like this. And then we have x minus 1 cubed and a single square root 3 plus 2x minus x squared minus, now what's going on here? This is an 8, 16, so that'll cancel. I'll have the 2/3, 3 plus 2x minus x squared to the 3/2 plus c. I think we're done. Let me just double check with the first time I did it. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. So like I said, if you picked a different double angle identity for cosine, you may have an entire extra term in your answer, which, you know, this is an indefinite integral. So there are some variations because our trig functions, you know, they involve one another, and using identities, you could probably arrive at the other answer. However, mathematically speaking, we agree that the correct answer is the most simplified, which typically would be the one that is the simplest, cleanest, has the fewest amount of terms. Okay, so this is what you should be aiming for. But I am curious, I know some of you like to just avoid trig sub at all costs. You'll do this, that, and the other. So if you did, I'm curious to hear how you solved this integral. If you did something else, or maybe you did some more substitutions first and then your trig sub was easier. So please comment down below. I love reading your descriptions of your different solutions. And also I like when you guys comment to each other too, if you notice you both did it the same way or something. That's it for now. I'm going to go to the integration bee at the college where I teach this evening. I'm really excited about it. So hopefully I'll come back with some new integrals for you guys that you'll really enjoy. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Math with Professor V. I'll be back sooner than later, guys. Bye.